bodies at Temple.
Mine was too, a boot at Temple.
I like that. I didn't know that you converted. Overall, I thought, man, fun to get a few extra kicks in a live situation, trying to evaluate our kickers. We have 3. The competition has been really close. Going through practice number 5, the percentages were high for all of them, so it was great to be able to put them in front of some fans today and then see what that did in terms of different situations. I would also say the one drive from our offense at the end was kind of what I've seen throughout fall camp to this point, so that was the cleanest representation of offensive football that I saw for today. Defensively, I think they were sound in general. Looked like they got tired to me at some point toward the end of practice. I'm comfortable with the amount of players we have. I'm comfortable with the depth that we currently have. Execution, installation, etc. We're still, I think, 20 practices away from even ending camp, and so a lot of work still to do. I didn't think we were as physical today, especially offensively as what we had been, not only running it but blocking, so that didn't seem quite as sharp. But overall, just a solid day to work. So with that, questions?
Any injuries to?
No, that's what I was just asking Jeff about, and he said nothing because of the scrimmage today. We're having some hamstrings and overuse injuries starting to show up. Our D-line is getting a little bit decimated, and then we held out, obviously, up to 7 players, or critical players on each side of the ball today, because we've already seen what they can do, and we're hopeful to be able to move toward 2 deep somewhere midpoint of next week, and so the intent today was to see as many of those other guys play as possible.
What's your analysis of how Taysom and Ammon Olsen did today?
Man, Ammon has been sharper than he was today, especially in throwing it. We had kind of a run emphasis through a lot of the practice, but he's moved the team very closely to what Taysom has, and the V1 drive that I liked today offensively was, again, right at the end of practice. It was like 15 or 16 plays, and Taysom did a really nice job orchestrating that and kind of commanding the team, etc.
You mentioned they weren't as physical as you were hoping. Does that have to do just because the expectations are high? You get them in the stadium, some fans here. It's a good opportunity.
Maybe something to do with expectations, probably more so just end of the first week. And I don't think it wasn't the willingness to. It just didn't look like they were as fresh as they've been smacking into each other for the beginning of camp.
So what are some of the best things from this first week? You guys, after all, are instilling something new, and they seem to be adapting real well.
I like the talent, I like the pace, I like the consistency, and I've liked the execution for all that you just mentioned for the first 6 or 7 days. So probably ahead of where I thought we would be if I had to be pinpointed down. But I'd like to hear it sound different and look to be faster. So conditioning is still going to be a huge factor with the tempo. And defensively, that's what I noticed most today. It took more of a toll on those guys than what I thought, which is good to know now. So maybe we can build that capacity a little bit more.
Of the newcomers on the O-line, DeAndre Wesley, Braden Kearsley showing the most, maybe?
Those 2. If I had to say right now, the 2 that have shown the most through fall camp, not just today, and played the best, DeAndre is really doing a nice job at tackle, and then Kearsley inside is really, really physical and smart for a freshman. So I like them both a lot.
Are you guys planning on rotating offensive linemen?
Yeah, not opposed to it, because they have to sustain the pace as well. It's obviously better if we don't have to, because each time we substitute, the opponent can substitute, and the idea would be that our offensive line can get in better shape than the opponent's defensive line. We had 1 substitution penalty defensively today, and that's even with us sprinting from the side and trying to get off, and we still one time were caught with an extra guy. So if they can sustain the pace, we'd prefer not to, but from what I saw today, probably going to have to.
If you were playing today, who'd kick your opening PAT?
That's a great question. Not having the numbers in front of me, I couldn't answer that yet. Like on practice 5, the kickers were 100% from the first kick of practice all the way through the last and pre-practice. So I don't know what, it's so close right now. Those numbers today might have just shifted a little bit. So I'd have to see them before I know.
Bronco, on the uniform change that you made.
I was hoping you'd ask.
Can you tell us what went down after you basically?
Yeah, I will. What I can say is, if any of you are interested in more Twitter followers, that's a good strategy. You can boost yourself by like 1,000 in 20 minutes or so. So I appreciate your efforts helping me on that. All that went down was, so I was meeting with the recruit after media day. And then I come out of my office, and our sports information director looks like he's going to have a heart attack, and the line is flashing on my phone from the athletic director. And I say, man, what's happened? And so I had no idea until they said that the idea, which I kind of thought, you know how you might get your wife something for her anniversary and you think you've done a great job and you can't wait for her to open it, and then you get that look like that wasn't such a good choice. That was kind of the way I was feeling at that point. So I called a quick team meeting, had the guys come in. I asked them to raise their hand if they liked the tradition, spirit, honor. No hands went up. Asked them if they wanted their names on the back. Every hand went up. And so I said, well, it looks like I got to stand in front of some people and said I made a poor choice. So that's what I'm doing. And then, though, Kyle Van Noy raised his hand and said, how about for one game? And I said, man, that's awesome if you want to do it for one game. And then they stayed in together and chose homecoming, which I don't know if it was a concession, but it made me feel better. So, yeah, live and learn. So thanks for your help on that, everybody. Glad Holly was out of town.
So is Mick Hill off your Christmas card list?
No, it's all right. I mean, so here's the other thing is so I mentioned I saw one of the academies play, and I thought it was so cool, you know, but obviously I'm kind of out of touch. But so I went to Mick. This is like in the summertime, and I said, man, how about if we did that? So I hadn't thought about it again until I walked into media day and saw it on the jerseys. Then it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we did that, didn't we? I didn't know they'd actually be on already, but we're past it and we're moving forward. So, and I'm still standing, which is good. All right.
Bronco, can you talk about just your overall impressions of all your kickers and punters in camp?
Yeah, Scott Ariano, since we've already kind of talked about the kickers, I'd say that is, I'm sleeping pretty well with him. With such a big loss of Riley Stevenson, man, so through a statistician that I know, we started with the ball further away from, the opponent started with the ball further away from their end zone than any other team in the country last year. And Riley had a lot to do with that. And so that leads to points. And so if Scott can continue with that trend, which in camp he has, each time we've asked him to put it inside the 10 as a team challenge, he's done it. I think that's 5 times now. So, and I'm impressed with that. Our snapper wasn't quite as sharp today. You saw some of the kicks were a little bit delayed because it was on the ground, and but that was good for him to be in the stadium today too.
Is Kevin O'Meara going to be the guy?
Yeah, he is the guy. We need a backup. We don't know who our backup is right now.
You said who's going to return punts and kickoffs?
Haven't said yet. If I were to say punts, it's between 3: Eric Thornton, J.D. Falsliv, Skylar Ridley. Kickoff: Falsliv, Thornton, Hine, Hoffman, Jordan Johnson. I think that's the pool.
So no John Raheem Peoples.
Not yet. He's at a sprained ankle, so until I can really see that burst from him, you know, we're just kind of keeping him on the ready list.
That's the only thing keeping him up kickoff for sure. Right?
It's just every day we start practice asking, is Peoples ready to return yet? But not quite there yet. All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks, Coach.